Hi, welcome to the second episode of Spin Around. We are spinning into economics in this episode. Today, we are going to talk about the basic concepts of economics. This episode would cover the concepts which we may need in the future episodes. Every one of us have experienced this battle of currency and money. The only thing is, you don't know about it. Whether it be the products you buy are priced more than it was the last time, or even your utility bills hiking up unexpectedly. This battle includes gold and silver too. The thing about that battle is that everyone thinks that the currency would win. There is this blind faith. But at the end, gold and silver always revalue themselves and win. Before we can understand the story in future episodes, let us see and know the basic concepts today. So, what is currency? Many of you might think of currency as money, but it actually isn't. It does not store value in itself. It is just a medium to transfer value from the one asset to another. Now, what is money? Money has value within itself. See, the thing is, money is currency, but currency is not always money. Gold and silver are always called as real money because they always retain the purchasing power no matter whatever happens. Throughout our history, there have been currencies in many forms. This includes grains, paper, spices, coins, and then so on. You might be knowing about this system as a barter system. Well, under this system, goods and services were exchanged. However, it had a lot of flaws. As a result of this, we need to change it. So, if you are wondering what were the flaws, the first one was that it had a lack of divisibility. You could not just divide anything whenever you want to exchange something. The second flaw was it had no storage of wealth. Suppose you have perishable goods as wealth, then what would you do? You need to sell them as quickly as possible so that they don't get expired. The third one is double coincidence of wants. Suppose you want to buy a pair of shoes. There are two things you need to do. First of all, find a person who is selling a pair of shoes, and at the same time, you have to find the same person who can accept the thing which you have. Like suppose if you have wheat, then you need to find a person who wants wheat, and in exchange of that, he's giving you shoes. The last point is it had absence of common measure, like how much wheat would you exchange for a pair of shoes. As a result of this, we transition to the gold standard. In this standard, we literally use gold and silver coins to trade. However, it was difficult to carry big crates. So to solve this problem, currency came into existence. Currencies backed by gold. These currencies were in the form of bond paper which were backed by gold. One could literally exchange them in banks and get gold in return, or vice versa. Then slowly, all of the governments in countries made us to transition to this fiat currency very cleverly. So what is fiat currency? Well, it is a currency established by a government regulation, but it does not have any value. Its value is maintained by the government, and also the parties engaging in exchange agree on its value. So what if they don't agree? That's our question for another podcast episode. There is a lot of history behind the existence of fiat currency. I will tell you the history of fiat currency and its existence in the next episode. Right now, just know that it works on the principle of partial backed by gold or backed by nothing. So what does this backed by gold currency actually mean? I will give a simple example. Consider you have a 2000 rupees note. So when the currency is backed by gold, it can be either backed by completely gold or partially for a particular proportion. Suppose you have 2000 rupees note. If this currency is backed by gold, then for every 2000 rupees, there is gold worth rupees 2000 in the government treasury. One can also redeem this if it is allowed. While on the other hand, if the currency is backed partially by gold, then for that 2000 rupees note, there might be gold in some proportion in the treasury, like 25%, 50%, 75% and so on. It is up to the government to decide. But if the currency is not backed by gold and issued just in faith of the people, then it is not backed by anything. It is called as paper money, that is our today's fiat currency for the other nations as well. The currency we use today, that is the Indian rupee, is fiat currency itself. It is backed by gold only by about 4.5%. Rest 95.5% is backed by foreign currency. This 4.5% is minimum security reserve and not applicable for exchange. The number of notes in circulation is way more than the reserve. It is backed in very small proportion. Whereas for the US dollar, it is backed by literally nothing since 1971. They are backed by, I quote, full faith and credit of the government and not gold. All currencies in use today are fiat currencies. And with inflation, everything gets more valuable except currency. In the next episode of Spin Around for Economics, we would learn more about how fiat currencies came into existence and also how this government smartly introduced fiat currency without people noticing. And also we would see what happens when they exist for a long span of time. This episode would get pretty long if I explain it along with what the history says. So that's it for today's episode. I hope you understand these basic concepts which you need in the future episode. Subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any new episodes. Do share with your friends and family too. Thank you.